content on my channel is meant for growth. I don't spend a lot of time diving into a lot of the sympathy victim stuff. I don't look for examples of ways to vilify women or to further the chasm between men and women. As a matter of fact, my goal here is to elevate men beyond that anger point and get them to get a certain level of respect about themselves as men and see how maybe they've been showing up in life as bitches. Because this is what I've noticed in my time on this earth, is there's a lot of pretending going on both sides. There's a lot of lying. There's a lot of posturing and pretending and posing and masks being worn, and nobody wants to be honest about anything. Everybody seems to want to run game, play games, and do silly shit. And once something happens to where their heart gets broken or they lose some money or some whatever it is that they hold value, then it's really easy to get caught up in the rage stage and want to throw rocks over the fence and never interact anymore. And I get it. I've been there before. When I came into my own enlightenment, I was angry as fuck. But it wasn't so much that I was angry at women. I was angry that I allowed myself to get played. And that's, once I started to look at myself in these things, the women were insignificant. They didn't really matter at all because they were all the same. All of the women were the same. They all did the same slut shit. They all told the same slut lies. They all did almost exactly the same thing. And it wasn't until I stopped and said, okay, I can blame all of them, or I can look at the common denominator in all this and deal with that. And the common denominator in all of my shit was me. It was me. And so when I come to this place and I say things, I may use some generalizations, but I'm talking about most. When I speak about how women are in today's society, I'm speaking about most. But when I speak about most women, it needs to be really clear that I'm also speaking about most men. Because the manosphere is full of a bunch of whiny bitch sissy men that have merely found different pockets to fit in with other like-minded whining bitch ass sissy men. And instead of growing and trying to figure out, a way to adapt and overcome in this, there's a lot of tough talk and a lot of really incel talk. Because these men that speak about, not wanting to deal with women, a lot of them can't deal with women without getting played the way they've been played their whole life. And it's easy to look at, who's hurting you and go, fucking, all these people are the same way. But again, if you fail to look at the common denominator in your life's experience, you will always come to it from a point of weakness. And my deal with my channel with the Manosphere is to get men. I don't consider myself a MGTOW dude, because I think MGTOW it's a temporary prescription. When men come out of whatever circumstances where they're getting an awakening of, their traditional thoughts or values or projections about women not being true, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. And when you realize that you've been playing a game that you can't win with the rules that you've been playing, it's easy to want to exfil and detach and not do any of that shit anymore. But the problem is you don't want to be that way. Men don't want to be without a woman's company. The problem is when you put women and sex on a pedestal, then you are playing a dangerous, dangerous game. Now, a lot of content creators like to spout statistics and numbers, divorce numbers and all of these things. I guess that's a male trait. when you want to prove things with numbers. Well, let's go along those lines. You have to know that if 95% of women are trash, and men in the manosphere agree with that, I don't have a problem with that. I will agree with that. But I also say that that's the same for men. It's the same, because women didn't get the way that they are by themselves. And although there's a lot of people who like to pretend like they came to, the table with all this perfection and this person did this, that, and the other, man, that's comfortable. And if that's really what happened, that's terrible. But chances are you aren't as innocent in the shit that happened in your life. You see, because if you would listen to the dudes in the manosphere, they talk about how men are raped and divorced. Been married and divorced. You know how I got raped? I didn't. I walked away from fucking everything. I didn't fight for anything. I didn't want anything. What I wanted was away from that fucking bitch. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted. I took my car and my clothes and I went and built another empire. I didn't need to fight for that. I left that. There was no fight. There was no rape. She had my son. She needed to have custody of my son at the time because I wasn't on my feet. So there was no fight. And about a year after our divorce, I got custody of my son. No factor. Because I'm a fucking man. I'm a man. The court system doesn't get to bully me or do any of that shit. I'm a man. I handle my business. I don't bring people into my life that have the capacity to fuck me over. Now, have I ever been fucked over? Absolutely. Absolutely. But not on this mega scale. And if and when I'm honest about me getting fucked over, I just got back what I'd been given either to that person or people before. It's just the truth. So what I'm saying here is this. If you're listening to red pill content and you're a man that's trying to find the best way to go about getting the things that you truly desire in your life, I want to go back to the list that I offered it in a previous video. Number 1, take accountability for your life. Take accountability for everything that's happened to you. Don't blame your mom or your dad or any of that. Understanding how you went off track, where you went off the rails, understanding the origins of some of your sick, toxic shit, that's good. But knowing the origin doesn't give you a pass to say, you know what, this is the way my life's going to be because of that. That's sick. That's fucking vaginal, weak shit. Take ownership. If you've been dogged out by every woman, chances are you're kind of a sucker. You didn't learn anything at all. As a man, you've got to learn to navigate, adapt, and overcome to whatever situations that you're presented with. And listening to people tell you to, you know what, the best way to do it is not play at all. Just go. You can do that, but you're going to be fucking miserable because it's not what you want to do. The problem is what you've wanted to do, what you've done is yielded you trash because you've dealt with trash, most likely because you've been trash, homie. That's the way that this game works. That's the way that it works. Women are going to do what they're going to do, and we know this. We understand hypergamy. We understand this. But using hypergamy as a means to say, you know what, because of that, why even fight? That's a loser mentality. Because hypergamy is a woman's imperative to take care of her fucking self. And if you're not a man on his purpose, if you lured her in with some games or some traps or some enticements, you're gonna lose her because it's not real, bro. That's what you have to understand. All this game and bullshit, all of this stuff, doing stuff for women, to attract women, to do stuff for women is going to make you fucking lose because you're putting this person on a pedestal. You're chasing after something that everyone else is chasing. And believe it or not, that's not what she wants. There's so many dudes that'll tell you, walk away and she'll chase you. And if she doesn't fucking want you. You have to approach this game as a man of value. Not of value like a lot of people's. The value that you bring cannot be taken away. Understand that. People talk about being a high value man, but value that can be taken from you is no value at all. The value that is invaluable is what you should seek to build. Good looking people are all over the place. If that's your value, you're going to lose. It can be taken away. An accident, get your ass whooped, anything. Money can be lost, it can be taken away. All of these things that people use as enticements and traps can be taken away, or they can be bettered upon. You're using money to lure women, and that's the type of woman that you seek to attract. What do you think's going to happen when she finds a dude with more money? Looks, status. A lot of people like to say that women don't love you for you. Thoughty sluts don't. But I know quite a few people that are happily married because they chose the right person. They didn't get married because they had kids. They didn't get married because it was the right thing to do. They didn't get married for any other reason that they chose that person. And this person didn't take their hobbies away. They didn't take anything away from them. They encouraged it. They enhanced one another. See, a person's supposed to add to your life. They're not supposed to define it. And men often look for women to define and validate them. That's living like a bitch. You're supposed to be a king. Your queen doesn't validate you. You validate her by picking her. And then she earns that validation by following you. See, men that are in the top, whatever percent that people like to use and say, oh, these guys are the apex. The reason why these people are where they are, it's not for the attributes that a lot of losers like to say. It's because these men are fucking men. And they know their worth. They know their value. They understand that their value is in attaching themselves to a woman and providing kingship for her. That's not the way men operate. They attach to their beautiful princess and make her the queen, and then strive to make mama happy no matter what she does. That is foolery. You're a joker. Take accountability and responsibility for everything in your life. Instead of looking at all of the things that were done wrong with you, ask yourself, why did I feel the need to deal with this? Why did I bring this into my life? What was I supposed to learn? And the next time you cross this bridge and you find yourself dealing with things that it's somewhere deep inside you know aren't right, respect and honor yourself as a man and draw the bridge. Draw the bridge. You do not put up with bullshit if you have value in yourself. Remember this. Remember this in every interaction that you have as a man. Take ownership, take responsibility, take control of your life. When you do that, you will start to move yourself into that vaulted 5-10% of real kings.